Hello, my name is Silly. I'm just another teenager starting a commentary art channel that will most likely crash and burn within a year due to me doing something stupid. This is the story of most art commentary people. I mean, we've lost so many great soldiers, okay, maybe one of them wasn't so great. I've been in the art commentary space since I was 12. I've seen the cycle of eccentric teen try to talk about a subject that they are too young to understand, then obviously not doing a good job. I feel like the biggest recent example is Mushroom Girl. This lovely fellow loves to make unscripted, unfiltered, controversial, raw, cancelable videos with such amazing takes like how bi and imspec lesbians are valid and how lesboys are also real. Disclaimer, I am not a lesbian and I do not want to get into this discourse because this isn't the topic of the video. But those were in the past. This guy hasn't matured, or has he? Well, only one way to find out.
Yes, there was most likely some kind of correlation between real-life sexual predators and pro-shippers, but it doesn't really mean much.
So it must be morally wrong.
Are we really going to argue that the legality of certain actions dictates the morality of them? Really? I will summarize. Romanticization isn't inherently harmful, at least in my personal opinion based on my interpretation of the definition. To romanticize something in a piece of media, be it visual art or written stories, you just need to make the dark or upsetting subjects depicted look better than they are in reality.
Look, Pim, I know it's our job to help this guy and everything, but I think this guy's a lost cause. He's obviously made up his mind. Why don't we just cut our losses and get out of here?
Okay, maybe 16 isn't a mature age. I should know. I am 16. Now, the rest of this video might sound like I'm defending him, so here's me actually digging into him. I don't get why you would mention that there is probably a correlation between pedophilia and lolicon and continue to defend it. If there is even a chance, which there is, of them correlating, then maybe you shouldn't defend this. I also think it's stupid to also bring up how because it's illegal it doesn't mean it's bad. I know some illegal things aren't really that bad. I mean, weed is illegal in Texas, but it isn't bad and no one really cares. But lolicon is completely different. I mean, drawing an anime girl or boy that looks like a toddler doing sexual things is extremely disgusting on a basic moral level. I do not care about censorship when it comes to that. It can be censored for all I care because it's disgusting. I understand to some degree if you are a victim of CSA and this is your coping skill, but I find it very hard to feel empathy for them if they have a public NSFW where they post that stuff and allow people to get their rocks off to it. If it's trauma art, then you should keep that between you and a therapist, coming from someone who's a victim of CSA. I hate how she mentions time and time again how pro-shipping is not meant for minors when she's a minor herself. You shouldn't be in this community if you're 16. Last time I checked, most pro-shipping accounts post some very not kid-friendly things. This goes into my other point about how his opinion on this stuff is probably warped. I don't know how long Mushroom Girl has been in this pro-shipping scene, but it's been long enough to mention similar topics about 2 years ago. I don't understand why a minor is even allowed in a pro-shipping space when it's literally built off the worst of the worst. But because he's been considering himself pro-fic for a while, I would assume he's been groomed into this mindset. As a 16-year-old myself, I was introduced to the wonders of pro-ship stuff at the amazing age of 13. I was shown drawn zoophilia, porn of Hello Kitty characters, and even porn of me. What a fun time. Anyway, my intro to this sort of stuff was beyond negative, but in my impressionable mind, I thought it was normal. I thought it was okay to be shown that stuff. I thought it was okay for someone to be into it because it was my friend who was into it at the time. I thought that it was just fictional and it didn't hurt anyone. But it did. I was hurt because it was normalized to me for a short period of time. I would like to mention how this also happened during COVID. So I was isolated and had no real people IRL to tell me how wrong it was. And I'm going to assume the same thing happened to them. The lack of IRL interactions and creeps online probably caused them to develop the mindset that all censorship is bad and lolicon should be allowed. It's a sad reality of a lot of people my age. We all were extremely isolated at some very important developmental times in our lives, and we were all very impressionable. The internet in general is not a good place for young teens or preteens. For about 2 years, that's all we could be on. This isn't me defending Mushroom Girl. It's more me giving a reason for this mindset. This is all speculation and not confirmed. I don't have much evidence besides video dates and their age, so it's probably either not even close to what's actually going on or there's more to it. Anyway, at the beginning of the video, Mushroom Girl tries to define pro-shipping and say that antis have been twisting the definition, but no. Pro-shipping is a vague term that has no solid description. Mushroom Girl may act like the evil antis have been twisting this description of pro-shipping to make it evil, but in reality there is no definition. The terms are so confusing and I genuinely don't care. I still avoid pro-shippers, obviously, but I think these terms are beyond misused. The biggest problem with pro-shipping for me is that some pro-shippers aren't even victims of some form of SA. They just like the idea of a minor being raped, a dog being raped, or siblings and cousins, being in relationships. I think it's so insane how people who are victims of some form of SA are grouped with the same predators who do this kind of stuff. I also feel like pro-shipping really muddles the lines between adult and minor spaces with the fact that I've seen people my age label themselves as pro-fic/ship when the entire community is built on dark themes that are extremely romanticized and normalized. The most likely case with Mushroom Girl is that she was groomed to the mindset at 14 or 15 and it stuck. Maybe when he's 18 and gets a job and can't be online 24/7, he'll realize, wait a minute, I shouldn't be in a community that normalizes heinous things, fictional or not. But for now, what can we do? Well, obviously don't call them a pedophile. I've seen people accuse them of being into little kids when I really don't think that's the case. Mushroom Girl is a minor herself. Also, don't be an asshole and use anti-Semitism, homophobia, or transphobia against them. Maybe I'm just an empath, but let's treat this fellow with more understanding. I think a big problem with the internet is dogpiling minors who are obviously groomed into a horrible mindset. I mean, if you see someone being an open zoophile, then that's bad. But if they're like 15, maybe don't send them death threats and dox them. Just a thought. These people just desperately need someone to talk to. A friend. The reason people turn to this stuff is because they are lonely, and then your fateful groomer swoops in and tells them about how it's okay to be a zoo, or pedo, or into incest. It's a sad reality of things. I don't know if Mushroom Girl will see this, but if you are, maybe learn to take criticism. I've seen you be extremely defensive when people critique your videos, when some are unscripted and are obviously going to have mistakes. Don't use my reasons as excuses either. You need to take accountability for having some pretty bad takes about this stuff. Maybe put some more time into your content and reflect on your morals. I don't have an outro, I don't need one. This will probably be Ruh-roh. I took too long making this video. It sucks so much having a life outside of the internet. Now I can't make my speedy art commentary videos that I upload almost daily. Anyway, Mushroom Girl has responded, and I do not think they have improved or realized what they are doing is wrong. Mushroom Girl believes gore, cannibalism, and self-harm are on the same levels as lolicon, shotokan, incest, and zoophilia, which is not true. She doesn't understand the difference between properly portraying CSA in a way that shows it's wrong and the way a pro-shipper portrays it. I think censorship is wrong and all, but I genuinely don't care about weirdos who draw porn of little kids. She gives examples of gore and cannibalism, self-harm, and whatnot, but the difference between those things is that, 1, self-harm is not illegal, and I don't really understand why you view it as something that would be considered censorship-worthy, considering people IRL struggle with that stuff. 2, gore art is pretty alright if it has some sort of purpose, like if it isn't something for weirdos to, get their rocks off to. I think a good example is someone on Instagram called Rabbit's Foot, who is a forensic student who uses their knowledge of the human body to properly portray injuries and educate other artists who want to use it for their stuff, like comics, OCs, or whatever. Gore isn't being censored in the mainstream and isn't worthy of it. 3, cannibalism is pretty widely accepted as being okay to portray in fiction as long as you aren't trying to subliminally message your fan base into actually doing it. Again, it's fine as long as it's not meant for sexual gratification. The same can be said for stories involving CSA. As long as it's not being romanticized, then there should be no push for censorship. I think MG just sees something that needs a content warning as a thing that is being threatened by censorship. Pro shippers have a habit of, well, romanticizing these things. That's why there's a push for them to be censored and not just have a content warning slapped on it. I think MG doesn't understand what grooming is. He thinks that it's only between an adult and a minor, when in reality it's way more complex. You can be groomed by a group of people. You can be groomed by a minor as a minor. You can be an adult groomed by an older adult. You can be groomed into a religion, a cult, a set of beliefs, morals, basically anything. It depends on how impressionable you are and how much control a person or group of people have over you. MG believes they haven't been groomed into being a pro shipper, mainly because their definition of it is way too specific. I'm not saying MG was actually groomed, by the way. I'm just saying if they were, they cannot properly identify it because they have no idea how grooming can come in different forms. Another thing in their video that I want to bring up is how they said they never stated minors shouldn't look at pro shipping material, just people who are too young to differentiate fiction from reality. This is such a bad take. No minor should be viewing suggestive or NSFW content. No minor should be making suggestive or NSFW content publicly. This whole point in her response was just to say, look guys, I'm not a hypocrite, but in reality, it just shows that she thinks it's okay for people under the age of 18 to view pro-shipping material.
Bracket because it's different for every single person. There are 15-year-olds out there that are probably able to perfectly differentiate the difference between fiction and reality, and they can think these pedophilic ships are cute in this fictional setting without thinking they're cute in real life and knowing that it's bad to do so. Yes, there was most likely some kind of correlation between real-life sexual predators and pro-shippers, but it doesn't really mean much.
What are you saying? If a 15-year-old is viewing a pedophilic ship, that is already wrong. But they think it's cute? Okay, buddy. Listen, I know the whole point of this video was to discredit people calling you a hypocrite, but you just dug a deeper hole. I genuinely cannot comprehend how you see this as fine, and I hope you grow out of this mindset once you turn 18, because if you don't, then you might actually be a genuine danger to minors. MG specifies how they don't view pro-shipping material when I saw on their Twitter that they follow pro-ship accounts. If you aren't engaging in this content, then why are you labeling yourself as pro-fic/dead dove do not eat? You are attracting the people who use these labels and interacting with them. I don't know if you liked any of this content, considering Elon has removed the ability to see that, but your follow list includes pro-ship accounts. You're just contradicting yourself. I think this whole drama has caused MG to hate antis even further, which is pretty bad. In a point of this video, they basically label anyone who has been against them as an anti. I dislike how some antis handle pro-shipping, like starting extreme harassment campaigns and making stuff up or exaggerating it. That's why I don't consider myself an anti. At this point, I believe the only saving grace for MG is for them to get offline and do something with their life outside of the internet. This video honestly makes me infuriated on so many levels. I don't really know what to say. I guess this is the actual outro now. Don't harass Mushroom Girl or anything. Don't harass pro-shippers or antis. Just move on from this drama and live your life, because this is all just a silly internet thing. Bye bye!